table, and we got to maybe about half of them, and there were a bunch of very interesting, very cool things that we did not get to, so I wanted to share those with you today. So I have 5 very cool watches on the table here. Before I get into that, while you're here on our YouTube page, please do like this video, hit subscribe, and hit that little bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you get notified when we go live for the Horological Happy Hour and when we post our Take 5s and Gone in 60 Seconds. So, I am going to start out with a watch that I get very excited every single time one of these comes in. This is from Lange Söhne, and this is the Cabaret in platinum. The Cabaret was discontinued long ago, so other than a ridiculous tourbillon version that is currently available, you cannot get a square watch from Lange right now. This, to me, was one of the coolest watches they made, because in typical Lange fashion, not only did they make a square watch, but they made a movement that fits the case ever so perfectly. You get the same beautiful level of Lange finishing. You get the same elements like the blued steel screws holding in those chatons. You get the engraved balance cock, but you get it in this incredible rectangular movement. And we have basically a Darth setup here where we have a platinum case with a black dial, Lange's signature big date with a black disc with white printing. I mean, come on. This is a tuxedo watch. This is an everyday watch. This is a stone cold killer. I love these. I would love to see Lange bring it back, but I don't know if they will. It's unfortunate. So the Lange Cabaret in platinum with a black dial. Then we have, let's go here. We're talking about old stuff, so let's get real old. This is the original Patek Nautilus. I have here the reference 3700. This is the steel Nautilus as designed by the man himself, Journe. There's not much I have to say about this watch spec-wise. Everybody knows what this is. This has the original ultra-thin movement in it that was a collaboration between Patek, Audemars Piguet, and Jaeger. And it has a really cool feel to it. If you ever get to handle one of these, you have to give it a couple cranks because it doesn't feel like any other watch on the market. Very, very cool. We have the original Sigma dial on here, the original size, the jumbo, which today we would equate with basically 40 millimeters. It wears like a 40, but look at that. That is slick. It is so slim. And these have a really different feel from a 5711. It's really hard to put into words, but when you put this on your wrist, it's a completely different watch. Everything, the bracelet, the case, it's all slimmer. It all has just kind of a character and a life force of its own that you don't always get with modern watches. Old school stamped steel clasp with that beautiful Nautilus script on it. The original like 2-piece case here held together with the screws on the side. And no seconds hand, because accuracy isn't that important. There you go. All right. Also, last thing I want to say, the fact that these are basically the same price as a 5711 continues to boggle my mind. These are so much rarer. They're so much harder to find in good condition. This example specifically, you know, it still has a lot of the original features you would expect to find on this. You still have good lines here where the case changes direction. There's still a good transition between the brushed and the polished. Like, it has everything I would look for in a vintage watch like this. Original loom, original hands. It is a killer, killer watch. That's the Patek 3700. Then we go to FP Journe. And I pulled this because all of a sudden, we have not seen many FP Journe watches here at the store. It's like all of the Journe collectors collectively, ooh, too many collects in there, decided to hold on to their watches. So we just haven't seen much Journe recently. This is the Journe Octa Perpetual. This is the second generation of perpetuals from him. The first gen basically looked exactly like the annual calendars, except when it went to February, it would denote the leap year. So he kept that feature here. So you'll notice the leap year got moved into the center. We have month and day, and then we have the big date at the bottom. Hyper legible, very cool, two-tone dial, and everything else is the classic Journe finishing on this. I like that this is kind of under the radar. Like, it's a very high-end complication, but it is not, it's not like over the top. It's not like an Optimum or a Centigraph or his new, the new mono pusher chronograph. Like, this doesn't have that like, whoa, what's going on there kind of look to it. This has the like, almost like it's a grown-up CS, where it takes his basic design language and it just kind of levels it up and gives you the grand complication of a perpetual. You get the incredible Journe automatic with 5 days of power reserve, all done in rose gold. And this one in a platinum case with his standard gray dial. I really like these, and we don't see them. The last one we saw, I think, was 6 months to a year ago, and that was an all white in a rose gold case. So different variation, and glad to have a Journe on the site after absence for a while. Then we go back to Patek for a special watch, and one that I feel a lot of people are kind of overlooking. This looks like a 5146, but it's not. This is the Advanced Research 5450P. So this is in platinum with this lovely coppery salmon dial. It's a very unique color. It's not the same as the salmon that they're putting on like the 5270 salmon or the 5320 or the 5172. It's a more kind of yellowish color to it, but really, really pretty against that platinum case. Charcoal markers and hands. And then the real deal with these, aside from the aesthetic being unique, is that the Advanced Research series was about Patek pushing the bounds of watchmaking. And in this case, experimenting with new materials. You'll notice that there is a Rolex style magnifying lens over the back crystal here. And that's placed directly over the escapement to showcase the silicon parts that are now in the escapement. So this watch features a silicon escape wheel, a silicon pallet fork, and a silicon hairspring. And this is kind of like, I often reference this to like the Mercedes S-Class, where in the S-Class, they'll roll out their new technology. And then if you wait 5 to 10 years, you know, that trickles its way down. And then eventually you get that same kind of tech in the C-Class, but then the S-Class has moved on to even bigger and better things. And that's what Patek was doing with these watches, taking models and references that they had, but upgrading them, experimenting with something new, and doing it in a very cool configuration that you can't get in a 5146, and limited to only 300 pieces. So this is a rare watch. It's an absolute stunner. This is the original strap this would have come on, this kind of complementary color here to the dial. And I mean, you can't do much better than that. I love these. Always have. All right. Finishing with a bang. This is a watch we almost didn't even know existed till we got one in blue earlier this year. This is a white gold Daytona, reference 116519, with a beach dial. This lovely kind of seafoam green here. Our first thought when we saw this was like, oh, somebody took a beach and mutilated the case and found a way to put a white gold bracelet on it. Incorrect. This watch was born this way, on a bracelet with this seafoam green Roman dial. This has been confirmed by Rolex as fully original. We have the original box and papers. This is from 2011, so we have full white gold bezel, and the beach dial. Usually, if you look up Beach Daytona, you'll see them where they have the matching strap. This is a very rare watch. Only the second one we have ever seen, with the first being that lighter blue, the kind of turquoisey color that they did. So this is very, very cool, very, very rare. And I think as a Daytona collector, this is the kind of thing you're looking for that really levels it up. Yeah. That's stunning. And the dial, I'm going to get close to the camera. Hopefully you guys can see. These dials have a really cool finish on them. There we go. It's got this almost like lacquer enamel kind of look to it. Yeah, look at that. It's really beautiful. This one in nice condition. The bezel, you can still read all the numbers on the bezel. The case is still nice and thick. The bracelet's in great condition. Again, not a super old watch, but not something that is out there. You cannot find these. So very excited to be offering a second one of these again so soon after going so long without knowing they existed. So that is 5 very, very cool watches, in my opinion. If you want to see some of the other new arrivals, please go check out our horological happy hour that we did last night. And a reminder to please like and subscribe. All of our live videos do live here on our YouTube page, so you can catch up with us anytime you like. And I look forward to seeing you again next time.